Gravel Throat Reviews here. Today we have a list of 9 super sick underground and underrated black metal, death metal, doom, and crust bands from around the world. Check all these bands out on Bandcamp or any streaming platform. Hit the like button if you can. It helps out quite a bit. Let's get right into this list. Number 1 is Black Aubergine from Spain. Black Aubergine has a number of interesting influences that create a unique sound. There are elements of crust, black metal, Motorhead-infused rock and roll. Instead of relying on blast beats to carry the songs along, they utilize a more simplified drum rhythm that is more driving and accessible. The vocals have an uncompromising grit that is grim and catchy. The guitars are buzzed out, lo-fi, and gritty. Songs like Capitalism is Disease and Hundreds of Rockefellers Dying solidify their nihilistic outlook. I've been discovering a ton of great bands from this region lately from Spain. If anybody knows any more sick bands from Spain, shoot them in the comments. I want to check them out. But big up to Black Aubergine from Spain. Number 2 is All Father from Victoria, British Columbia. All Father is a black death metal band from Canada that has influences of punk, thrash, hardcore, and obviously black and death metal. They have been active since 2014. They utilize a mid-range raspy vocal delivery and a high and low-pitched harmony that allows the band to stand out amongst contemporaries in the genre. The bass tones are crushing, and they have a very dynamic range of tempos in all their songs. All Father released the album Bless the Earth with Fire in 2016, and All Will Be Desolation in 2018, along with a handful of singles like Black Lung and Take Their Eyes. More recently, the EP of Violent Truth in 2023. Big up to All Father from Victoria, British Columbia. Number 3 is Mourn from Boston, Massachusetts. This band is an absolute menace. Massive walls of guitars, drums that sound like hammers, and the vocals sound like the death rattle of Lemmy Kilmister. The backup vocals allow for a deep, well-rounded harmony with the brutalizing instrumentation. They take nods from bands like Ministry, Celtic Frost, and Black Sabbath, but with a modern production technique that solidifies them as one of my favorite bands that I've discovered recently. Formed in 2005, Mourn has toured the US, Canada, Europe, and they've been part of festivals such as Roadburn, Hellfest, Psycho Las Vegas, and Quebec Death Fest. They have a number of releases, including Untold Weight in 2009 and Asylum in 2011, Shadows in 2013, and The Night Unknown in 2018, Rust in 2019, and Engraved with Pain in 2023. Big up to Mourn from Boston. Definitely check them out. They are super sick. Moving on to number 4 is Bismarck from Norway. Bismarck is a sludgy doom band from the west coast of Norway that deploys monolithic, heavy, slow riffs with an exceptionally gratifying guitar tone. Their vocals are pretty dynamic also. There is a mid-ranged, raspy vocalist and a backup vocalist that has a slightly higher, more black metal style sound. That provides an excellent harmony in this band. The insane vocal stack on the song Skyfather is like unforgettable and infinitely crushing. The mix on that song is perfect in my opinion. Bismarck is one of the most well-rounded sludge doom bands that I'm aware of. Their most recent album, Vorukasha, was released in 2024, and it's incredible. Definitely deserving of your undivided attention. Coming in at just over 35 minutes with 6 crushing tracks. There is much to discover and enjoy with them. Big ups to Bismarck from Norway. Fantastic project. Moving on to number 5 is Tar Pond from Switzerland. Tar Pond is a doom and gloom self-proclaimed anti-supergroup formed in 2015 by the legends in the heavy music and art world, including legendary bassist from Celtic Frost, Martin Ain, who I think has unfortunately passed away now, but also the band includes former Corner drummer and lyricist Marky Elderman. And he's also a world-renowned scratchboard artist named Thomas Ott. Tar Pond's lo-fi doomy riffs are nostalgic and gloomy as hell. I love the clean but slightly tarnished vocals that reminded me of like 70s doom or even like a 90s alt band from hell. These 2 albums that they have released during their time as a band include Protocol of Constant Sorrow in 2020 and Petrol in 2023. Big up to Tar Pond. Moving on to number 6 is Concrete Winds from Finland. Concrete Winds is a band that I can't get enough of. They deploy grinding death metal devastation with all 3 of their recent album offerings. That includes Primitive Force in 2019, Nerve Butcher in 2021, and the self-titled album in 2024. The intro to the song Sulfuric Upheaval has stuck with me since the moment I hit my radar. I love the staticky and distorted vocals that sound like dragging your own broken legs through a field of glass and rocks. The unrelenting beating your ears take when listening to Concrete Winds is something you won't soon forget. Big up to Concrete Winds from Finland. And number 7 is Rat King. There are a handful of bands named Rat King out there. This is the one that's based out of Seattle, Washington. So if you're looking for them, make sure you put that in there. They are a self-described Latin speed death band, but they also include influences from crust punk and old school death metal. Rat King is on the really amazing and productive label Satanic Royalty. Rat King was formed in 2015 when brothers Ricky and Danny moved to Seattle and met the drummer Carlos Delgado in 2017. They bonded over their love for old school bands like Sepultura, Death, and Nauseam. I've personally seen Rat King live a few times, and they put on a hell of a show every single time with blistering, lightning fast riffs and a raspy, chaotic vocal delivery. Their discography includes their albums Vicious Inhumanity in 2020 and their most recent release, Psychotic Reality, in 2023. Big up to Rat King from Seattle, super sick band. Moving on to number 8 is Wretched Stench from Oakland, California. Wretched Stench is a bit of a supergroup formed from members of bands like Night, The Wild Hunt, Void Omnia, Abstractor, Deiphage, Labored Breath, Dakima, and Vorlust, and also more. These guys are a death metal band on the verge of tech death that deploys a blistering menace that is faster than most ears can even listen. The most recent single, Nascent, is a flurry of pingy snares, chugs, squeals, and gutturals from vocalist Jameson. I love the groove on the song Pen Nagelin, as well as the churning guitar riffs that make me want to drive a tank off a cliff. Wretched Stench is super sick, and all the guys in the band are incredible musicians. Check out their album Weaving a Web of Viscera on Bandcamp and on the other streaming platforms as well. Big up to Wretched Stench from Oakland, California. And number 9 is Dolray from Singapore. Dolray is a blistering death metal / crust band formed in 2018 that has an insatiable thirst for grime and speed. The buzzing guitar works in tandem with the driving D beats to create a neck-snapping, angsty, masterful, old-school sound. Their discography includes a self-titled album in 2017, Invocation of Doom in 2019, Endless Torment in 2022, Blood of the Serpent in 2022 as well, followed by Moral Decay and Only Death is Eternal in 2024. These guys are super busy. Every one of these albums is crusty, brooding bliss. Black death metal DB is one of my favorite heavy music genres, so I'm always looking for bands like this. Very thankful I came across Dolray from Singapore. Check them out on Bandcamp as well as all streaming platforms. Big up to Dolray. All right, that is 9 super sick underground and underrated black death metal bands and doom bands. Check all these bands out. I'm going to put a list right here so you can screenshot that and check out all these bands yourself. I got some shirts for sale. If you want to check them out, let me know. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. This is Ben from Gravel Throat Reviews. See you on the next one. Peace.